This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abam. Erev Shabbos Kodesh, Parshas, Mishpatim. Today we're going to have two short Shiurim. Today's a short day for me. I'm speaking in Philadelphia this Shabbos. So I want to share with you a few thoughts on Parshas Mishpatim, and then a few imponderables. So the Haggadah has been given in for publication. If anybody still wants to be Mishtatev, that is still available. Parshas Mishpatim, the Chassam Sofer says, has 42 Mishpatim. The pasuk says, Ve'ela. Ve'ela is Gematria 42. Ve'ela ha-Mishpatim. But plus the mitzvah of Shemitah is 43. So, Ve'ela ha-Mishpatim. There are 42 Mishpatim in the Parsha, Gematria Ve'ela. And there's also mitzvah Shemitah, which is a total of 43. So, I would like the Siyata Shmaya to explain the significance of the 43 mitzvahs of Mishpatim. You know, the Parsha begins how to be mamtik the dinim, how to sweeten the midas hadin. And the Sefer Sifsei Tzadikim brings, in the name of the Aptarav, that the way to sweeten midas hadin is of course Elohim, Aleph Lamed, followed by Hey, then a Yud and a Mem. Elohim is Gematria 86. If you take what is called the Oisiyos HaKoidmim, the earlier letters, you take the letters before Aleph, Lamed, Hey, Yud, and Mem, you get Aleph remains Aleph, Lamed becomes a Chaf, Hey becomes a Daled, Yud becomes a Tes, and the final Mem becomes a regular Mem. So Aleph, Lamed, Hey, followed by Yud and Mem becomes Aleph, Chaf, Daled, Tes, Mem. Gematria 74. 74 is the name of Bitachain. So the Parsha is saying, Eila ha-mishpatim asher tasim lifneihem. You take the letters before Elohim. By the way, the end of the Parsha, it says that Moshe Rabbeinu went up with Aaron and Nadav and Avihu and the Shivim Zakenim, also 74. But Marv Rabbi said there's another way to sweeten the Midas Hadin. And that is to sort of split the 86 in half, to make from 86 43. Like it says in Tehillim, Peleg Elohim Malei Mayim. When you split 86 Elohim, it's full of chesed. Like Rabbi Tzvi of Zidichav says. So maybe this is the secret of the 43 mitzvahs in Parshas Mishpatim. 43 is always the Hamtakas Hadin. By the way, Rabbi Tzvi of Zidichav says that 43 is Gematria Toiv Hashem, 17 and 26. By the way, in Megillas Esther, the longest pasuk in the Megillah and in the whole Tanakh is 43 words. Next. This was very interesting to me. Chazal say, the Torah says in Perek Chav Beis, Pasuk Beis, don't embarrass a ger, because you were a ger. Perek Chav Beis, Pasuk Chav. V'ger lo yisoyneh v'lo yisol chatzenu ki gerim heyisam eretz Mitzrayim. Don't afflict a ger, because you were a gerim. Rashi says, because if you afflict him, he could afflict you back, and he could say to you, you're also from gerim. Mum shebechal tomer lechavercha. Here's some good advice. Your own imperfection, don't tell your friend. Now, I don't understand. Is that really the best reason you could come up with? Why we shouldn't afflict a ger? What about the fact that you're hurting his feelings? What about the fact that you're insulting him? The Torah is saying, no, that's not the reason. The reason not to afflict a ger is because he could say back to you, the ger could say back to you, well, the ger could say, you're also a ger. Okay, obviously I'm not concerned about the fact that you're going to insult me. But why does the Torah choose this reason to be the reason to emphasize why you shouldn't afflict the ger? I know where I come from. I know what the possibility of you insulting me back is, and I'm willing to take the chance, or I don't mind. So it's interesting, but the Torah says the reason not to afflict the ger is because he could say back to you. And we see from here that the fact that the ger could say back to you that, Rabbi Yid, you're also a ger, this is the most severe reason. Namely, that the Torah is saying, how could you insult him? Then you're insulting yourself. And then you don't have self-dignity. And you're not being makbid on your own kavod habriyos. It's like you're being mavaza yourself. Like Chazal say that if you eat in the marketplace, you're pasal le'edos. That's worse than the fact that you're afflicting him. This is more fatal. This is more corrosive. Worse than you hurting his feelings is you're destroying yourself. You don't have the dignity to know that by insulting him, you're really insulting yourself. And in a way, that's even worse. Okay. Rashi says that Hashem tells Klal Yisrael, I'm going to take you to the place that I prepared. Asher hachinoisi. Rashi quotes the Medrash, that this is one of the psukim from which we learn that the Beis Hamikdash Shel Mala is mechuvan keneged the Beis Hamikdash Shel Mata. The question is, what's that doing here? Why does it say here? Let me see if I wrote it this way. But why does it have to emphasize over here, Beis Hamikdash Shel Mala is mechuvan keneged Beis Hamikdash Shel Mala? Is this really the best place to teach such a thing? I mean, we know Beis Hamikdash Shel Mala is mechuvan keneged Beis Hamikdash Shel Mata, but why mention that here? Why here? Why is this the place to teach this halacha, or to teach this idea? It could be as follows. Even though Beis Hamikdash Shel Mala is mechuvan keneged the Beis Hamikdash Shel Mata, but that's not always the case. When the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, actually Hashem moved the Beis Hamikdash Shel Mala not to be aligned with the Beis Hamikdash Shel Mata, because if they're aligned, the Goyim can't destroy the Beis Hamikdash. The Chassam Sofer says that when Yaakov Avinu came to the Har HaBayis, he says, Ein zeh ki im Beis Elokim v'zeh shar hashamayim. This is only the house of God, v'zeh shar hashamayim, but they're not aligned. Meaning this is the house downstairs, but not upstairs, because God moved away His house upstairs. This is the meaning of the pasuk, Ni'er Hashem es mikdashai. So, if I were to ask, right now, is Beis Hamikdash Shel Mala mechuvan keneged Beis Hamikdash Shel Mata? No. Because if it was, then the Beis Hamikdash would be standing. The fact that it's in a state of destruction perhaps means that they're not aligned. You know why Hashem is choosing this juncture to teach that Beis Hamikdash Shel Mala is mechuvan keneged Beis Hamikdash Shel Mata? Because there's an idea that on Shabbos there is no Churban. On Shabbos it's as if we have a Beis Hamikdash. On Shabbos is impervious to Churban. And just like Shabbos is impervious to Churban, Shemitah is also impervious to Churban. And since the entire segment before was talking about the Dinei Shemitah, and when there's Shemitah, there's no Churban, so it could be this is the most appropriate place to teach, in fact, that mechuvan Beis Hamikdash Shel Mala keneged Beis Hamikdash Shel Mata. Okay, one final thought. Pasuk says, Perek Chav Daled, Pasuk Gimel, Kol Dvar Asher Diber Hashem Na'aseh. And then a little bit later on, Pasuk Zayin, Kol Asher Diber Hashem Na'aseh V'Nishma. So what happened? Why at first did Klal Yisrael say Na'aseh and then Na'aseh V'Nishma? It's interesting that in the interim, Rashi tells us about the blood that was split in half and they were kairei sabris. And Rashi says they were nichnas lebris they made a covenant with God with bris milah, which means that Klal Yisrael had a circumcision. We know that the circumcision of the body opens up the heart. That keneged the arla of the milah, there's an arlas halev. And when you remove the arla, it opens up the heart. It helps the heart understand Torah. So, we'd like to suggest, originally Klal Yisrael said na'aseh. Na'aseh means we will do. But nishma, the Malbim says, nishma means we will understand, we will be maven, we will comprehend, we will analyze. So perhaps we could suggest, before the milah, it was only nasa. They could perform, but they can't yet be nishma, lahavin. But after the milah, it's nasa v'nishma. Not only could we act and perform, we could even understand. So these are some thoughts on Parshas Mishpatim. Wishing you all a wonderful Shabbos.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.